No one remembers exactly when the village first appeared. On several surviving maps from the Joseon dynasty, there is a strange blank space in the southern mountains of the Korean Peninsula. The area has no name, no marked roads, only a yellow patch of paper, as if the cartographer deliberately erased something from the world. Later scholars realized that this was not a lack of information, but a conscious omission, a place removed from the natural order. The villagers nearby passed down a name by word of mouth, never written, never official, the Shadowless Village. There is no map that leads to the Shadowless Village. The path does not exist in daylight. Only when the sun disappears behind the mountains, when light withdraws from the ancient pine trees and cold mist spreads across the slopes, does a narrow trail quietly reveal itself. Those who have walked it say they felt as though they were moving backward through time, each step making the familiar world behind them fade further away. The moment one steps onto the path, silence descends. No insects, no night birds, not even the sound of wind through the trees. The air becomes heavy and tense, making every breath feel strained. The pine forest still stands, yet it feels lifeless, frozen like a motionless backdrop, existing only to guide the intruder toward a place that should not be reached. What terrifies the lost travelers is not the scenery, but themselves. Under the faint moonlight filtering through the branches, they look down and discover something impossible. There is no shadow beneath their feet, no matter how they move. No shape follows them on the ground. Moonlight touches their bodies, yet leaves no trace, as if they had been severed from the laws of light itself. Deeper in the valley, the village appears like a perfectly formed illusion. Low houses with black-tiled roofs stand close together, dirt paths wind between them, and paper lanterns glow softly from every doorway. Everything looks ordinary except the light casts no shadows. Trees, wooden pillars, rooftops all stand clearly visible, yet the ground beneath them remains bare and untouched. The villagers live as they always have. They draw water from the well, cook meals, talk quietly in front of their homes. Their faces show no fear, no confusion, only calm acceptance. Their eyes are not empty, nor hostile, but settled, as if they have lived with something unchangeable for a very long time. And yet, not a single one of them has a shadow. No one chases strangers away, nor do they question their presence. Instead, every newcomer hears the same sentence, spoken gently but firmly: "Do not look for your shadow." No explanation follows. No one answers why. The words are simple, yet they leave an unease that lingers long after they are spoken. In the late 17th century lived a scholar named Han Seon-min, known for his belief that all phenomena could be explained through reason. He dismissed vague legends, convinced that fear was born from ignorance. When he heard of the Shadowless Village, he saw not a curse, but a mystery waiting to be understood. Carrying his writing tools and unwavering faith in knowledge, he set out to find it. In his journal, Han Seon-min recorded that the road appeared only at sunset, that the pine forest was unnaturally silent, and that upon entering the village he felt as though he had stepped outside the normal flow of time. Time there moved slowly and indistinctly, with no clear boundary between night and day, as if the village existed beyond the world's current. At the center of the village stood an ancient well, its stone rim worn smooth by centuries. When Han Seon-min leaned over to see his reflection, he saw nothing, not his face, not his eyes, only dark, still water stretching downward, reflecting nothing at all. The sensation sent a chill through him, as though the well was not being observed, but was itself observing. One night, Han Seon-min encountered an old man sitting before his house, long white hair falling over his shoulders, eyes clouded like mountain mist. The elder did not ask where the scholar came from, nor did he express surprise. After a long silence, he began to speak, his voice slow, as if recalling a memory buried deep beneath time. According to the elder, the village was once like any other. People had shadows, family records, ancestors they honored. Life was hard but stable until a year of relentless drought arrived. Rain never came, crops withered, disease spread, and family after family fell into despair. In desperation, the villagers turned to an ancient forbidden ritual recorded in sealed texts, the ritual of offering shadows. They believed a shadow was bound to one's life force, a mark of existence beneath heaven's light. To offer one's shadow was to surrender a place in the natural order in exchange for survival. The ritual was performed on a moonless night, the entire village standing still beneath a dark sky. By morning, rain fell upon the fields, disease vanished, and death ceased. The village was saved, but from that moment on, Every shadow disappeared forever. Light no longer left traces upon the ground, and the villagers realized they had paid a price far greater than expected. The villagers no longer aged as ordinary people did. Time became unclear, its boundaries blurred. None could leave the village, for anyone who crossed the pine forest after sunrise dissolved like mist in sunlight. The shadow was not merely an image, it was the anchor binding a person to the world of light. One absolute rule remained: no one was allowed to seek their shadow again. Once, someone refused to accept this fate and secretly went to the well at midnight, staring into the water for a long time. That night, a scream tore through the village and then fell silent forever. The next morning, for the first time in hundreds of years, a shadow appeared on the ground with no person standing above it. When the sun rose, the shadow faded away, and from that day on, no one ever spoke of reclaiming shadows again. The final lines of Han Xiaomin's journal state that he was beginning to forget what it felt like to have a shadow, that light no longer hurt his eyes, and that he was no longer certain he belonged anywhere else. On the last page, only one sentence remained: "If anyone finds this journal, do not come here." Even now, woodcutters in the region claim that on fog-filled nights they see lantern lights deep within the forest. When they approach, only trees and silence remain. Some say that if you stand beneath the moon there for too long, your shadow will begin to fade, as if something is slowly erasing it. The Shadowless Village is not a place of death, but of incomplete existence, a place where people exchanged light in order to remain. And somewhere within the forests of Korea, when the moon hangs low and your shadow barely touches the ground, perhaps the Shadowless Village is still waiting for one more visitor.